horror fans and horror geeks. Welcome to the Chop Block, the only block where the horror community can come together to sit back, relax, and enjoy the genre. I'm your host, Ashton Austin, and I hope you'll chill with me as I dive into cinema's most unique genre, providing screams and scares for decades. So to all my final boys and of course my final girls, grab your coat hangers, grab your knives, and of course your guns. Because I hate to be the one to tell you this, but you're next on the Chop Block. Welcome back to the Chop Block. Today we are ranking every single Michael Myers mask in the Halloween franchise. There are 13 total Halloween films. Michael appears in 12. I know at the time you're watching this video, if you're watching it when it's coming out, it's November the 26th. Terrifier 3 has just released. Look at me, I'm sweating. I look exhausted, but I'm getting to it. Terrifier 3 should be out probably December the 1st, maybe the 2nd. I don't know. Let's go ahead and get straight into the video. Alright, so here we are. Here's the tiers. Our first tier being It Was the Boogeyman, quoting Jamie Lee Curtis's Laurie Strode in 1978. Some people think she said, was it the Boogeyman? But I have it on good authority that she said it was the Boogeyman. And then, right below it, so that's basically excellent, perfect. Right below it is great, which is, as a matter of fact, it was, which is a response to Dr. Loomis, which is a response from Dr. Loomis. Then we have Get Your Ass Away From There, which means it's okay, but let's not go in that direction, which is from Halloween 1 as well. The Cinnamon, Halloween 2, and It Needs to Die, which is Halloween Kills, Frank Hawkins, which just means just get as far away from that mask as possible. So let's go ahead and start with the original. The original is the 1978 original. Of course, It Was the Boogeyman. It's the perfect mask. It's the mask that set the standard. It's the mask that created nightmares. The mask that made this franchise. The mask that just made a genre, honestly. This mask is iconic on so many levels. I think the way it fit Nick Castle's face was perfect. I think the mask, I always say, I feel like this mask was a shell. It felt like a shell. You really could not see the eyes. And you know, you can see the eyes in Halloween 2 despite it being the same mask. But I think this mask gets a lot of help from the way it fit Nick Castle's head. It didn't fit Dick Warlock's head as well as it fit Nick Castle's. So this mask is the blueprint, and this is our favorite mask for a reason. Our next one is Halloween 2's mask, which is the same, but it is not going on It Was the Boogeyman. It's going on, as a matter of fact, It Was. It's the same mask from the first, but like I said, with Dick Warlock taking over the role of Michael Myers, I mean, you can see it right there. Look at those two shots. One has those really dark eyes, and the other, you can literally see him. You can see what he's looking at. You know, it's unsettling. It's unsettling to not be able to know where his eyes are. Like, you know he's coming for you, but it's like, oh my God, it's like he doesn't even have eyes. This is crazy. It's really just like this force of evil. Not this man, but just this force of evil is tracking me, hunting me, trying to kill me. So that mask is very much chilling. But again, on Halloween 2's part, you can see Dick Warlock's eyes a bit more. The mask is still very good. I'm in between about Dick Warlock's performance, but the mask did feel like it almost felt like a downgrade just because of the way they were able to capture this original mask in the original film. They used a lot of lighting, a lot of darkness. They really made him feel mysterious. So I feel like they failed to do that in Halloween 2, and especially with them being unable to somehow create that same dark illusion on the eyes that they did with Nick Castle. In Halloween 2, they were unable to do it, so that is why Halloween 2 moves down the list for me. But enjoy Halloween and Halloween 2's mask, because it don't get no better from here until we get into the 20s, well, really the 2000s. I was going to say the 2010s, but I like the Rob Zombies, but we're not there yet. Our next one is Halloween 4, which is going in The Cinnamon. It's not great. It's not good. It's not the worst of the bunch, but it's not good or great at all. The Halloween 4 mask is so, I don't know how to describe it, honestly. The Halloween 4 mask just feels very much, it don't feel like Michael. It feels like a cheap Walmart mask or a cheap mask you order off of Amazon, and when you open the package, you're like, oh my God, this is not what I ordered, you know? And I think the fact that this mask looks so different is what ruins it. As far as it capturing the essence or the creepiness of Michael Myers, I think the mask is pretty expressionless. The eyes have disappeared again, but it just doesn't look like our Michael Myers, which is where the problems arise. So yeah, I'll put Halloween 4 in the man, but it's not gonna go in It Needs to Die. You know, not many are gonna go into It Needs to Die. Speaking of It Needs to Die, here's Halloween 5. It Needs to Die. It's terrible. I don't know who that is. It looks like an alien almost. I don't know what was going on in the 80s with the failure to recreate the mask. I really don't, but it was bad. The 80s and the early 90s, I don't know this failure, but I'm gonna say again, it was bad. They were not succeeding. They were not. I'm not a fan of Halloween's 5 mask. I don't think many are. It's terrible. I can't find a bright spot about it. It's horrible. For the most part, the eyes aren't as visible, but it's still terrible. And given the fact that Halloween 4 is pulling a Halloween 1 and 2 by having Halloween 5 literally start the moment 4 ended. For the mask to be different, it's almost like a big F you to the audience. You know, they do it a lot in horror. They do it a lot in all genres now, but continuity. I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't know my lights went off. Why the lights go off? I'm sorry, y'all. But continuity means something in films, in my opinion. Continuity means a lot. You'll see film franchises with good continuity. You'll see them, for the most part, they never struggle. They never struggle to come back when they please. You know, Halloween, you know, they do Halloween ends, and now they gotta try and figure out, okay, how are we gonna do it? Are we gonna creative reset? It's because you got so many different timelines. You done killed Michael in one timeline. You done killed Laurie in one timeline. You got a hillbilly backstory timeline. It's not good. While meanwhile, if you look at Scream or Chucky, you know, they've really been pillars of continuity. You know, I haven't watched all the Saws, but I am gonna continue to watch Saw. But I think, you know, just depending on what I've heard, I think they're like 10, 11 movies in. I think Saw might also have some very good continuity. So I think the fact that not only is this mask terrible, but it ruins the continuity of what was happening off of really a pretty decent, I'm not even gonna say decent, a pretty good Halloween film in Halloween 4. It was a good return to form after Halloween 3. And Halloween 3 wasn't bad, but people want Michael, so you give the people Michael. But for this mask to ruin the continuity and also just look so terrible, you know, now if they would have, you know, pulled something special and went back to this 1978 mask, and, you know, like, oh, we were finally able to pull it off, would have been cool with me. I don't know if there were any legal disputes or nothing which made them continuously have to make this mask look different. Let me know in the comments if there were, but yeah, this mask is terrible. This is the worst of the worst. Next, we've got Halloween, the Curse of Michael Myers. It's going in, get your ass away from there. Halloween, the Curse of Michael Myers, which is Halloween 6 for many who don't know, is a pretty bad film. But I feel like Michael's presence in this film was very chilling. And a big part of it is due to, it's not perfect as you can see, but this is a very good mask compared to what we get along the way. This is a very good mask. I do believe that. It is a very good mask compared to what we get along the way. It comes the closest to looking like Michael. We're at Halloween 6, which means, you know, he's gone through 1, he went through the fire in 2, so he had to get the new mask in 4. Then in 5. Or what happened in 5? Lord, I can't remember. Oh yeah, that explosion, he got broken out in 5. So, you know, this mask looks pretty good. You know, maybe they got him a new mask. Maybe his mask didn't survive something. But if we're continuing the illusion that Michael is grabbing himself new masks each and every time he decides to have an outing, well, this is a good mask. I can believe this mask. I can accept this mask that, okay, it's not going to be his first one, because he's not going to be able to get that same mask at that Haddonfield hardware store. But, capital B on but the replacement, the knockoff, it's not a bad knockoff compared to Halloween 5 or Halloween 4. It's not a bad knockoff. It comes pretty close. Next is H2O. If we're using just this regular mask and not the CGI versions, but it doesn't even matter, but I do believe H2O is better than the Halloween 5 mask, but it still needs to die. I mean, look at the picture. The eye holes are huge. The eye holes are huge. And it also looks like at times he has makeup on in H2O. It's just a lot going on in H2O. The CGIing mask, I think they used like 3 masks in H2O 20 years later. Despite H2O being a very good teen slasher, did kind of borderline on Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer just a little bit too much, you know. I get wanting to be in your time, but you know, you're Halloween. You're one of the blueprints. You never have to try and make a movie to fit in with the times because you are one of the titans of the genre. But I enjoyed H2O. I think it's a pretty good Halloween film. I actually put it in my great category. But this mask was terrible, and I think Chris Durand, I believe his name was, you know, I don't know him personally, of course, and you know, I mean no disrespect, it's just a critique, but I think he is probably the worst Michael Myers performer we have in the franchise. His Michael isn't good. It's a lot of things wrong with his Michael. He got hit in the crotch, his eyes went wide. He's giving too much as Michael. And the mask does not help. The mask is gonna make or break what type of feeling your Michael Myers has to him, and his Michael Myers had a very SNL-like feel to him. Like, I could imagine an SNL YouTube video titled Michael Myers gets nut checked, or Michael Myers gets kneed in the nuts, or Michael Myers gets kneed in the crotch, and there's the eyes and the you know, all that stuff. It's not my favorite. I feel like it takes away a serious amount of seriousness to the character. So I did not like the H2O mask just because of those eyes, the makeup, the hair isn't great. The hair is not great. The hair is always slicked back, but this time the hair is kind of out and about. And in Resurrection, I'm going to go this in the man, but I'm going to put it in front of the Halloween 4 mask. I like Resurrection's mask to a degree. Well, I don't like it at all, but I respect it to a degree to say, at least he looks mean again. At least he has at least a slight intimidation factor. And they tried to do the thing with the eyes, but unfortunately, because it feels like for some reason up until we got back to the Rob Zombie and Blumhouse films, there seemed to be no quality control. Nobody seemed to care about the slightest bit of quality when it came to producing these films. They were just cash grabbing them because there's no way you sent Michael Myers out there with mascara on, like full-blown strong black eyeliner. I get it, you're trying to get his eyes back black, but how about like they did in in Blumhouse, and I think they but like they did with the Blumhouse, how about making a mask for your actor? I feel like everyone should be making this mask for the actor, and maybe they did, but the mask needs to be a shell. It needs to fit, but it don't need to fit so much to where, you know, the eyes are right here, but you know, just kind of let off a little bit about right there. And I think it'll look good, but they didn't do it. Now, what I do like about this mask is it does very much look like Michael Myers, which you can't say about a lot of these masks. Like Halloween 4, you know it's supposed to be Michael Myers, but it don't really look like Michael Myers. Neither does Halloween 5. But I think Resurrection is the closest return back to 1978's Michael Myers, but it has to go into This Isn't a Man because the eyeliner and just the makeup in general and the expression they put on the mask, I can't look past. Yeah, I just can't. Now the next mask is one of my personal favorites, and I'm putting it in front of Halloween 2, is Rob Zombie's Halloween 1 mask. I think it's great. I think the one that he used when it was too big for his face, I think they replicated the mask down to perfection, and then when they decided to have the withered version, or the, you know, the torn, the aged version of the mask, I think it was very good. Yeah, because if you look at that original when he killed Judith, I mean, that thing is the Michael Myers mask. That thing looked great. I mean, I don't know how hard that was for studios to do in the 90s. And again, I don't know if there were any legal issues. I'm not deep in on the lore of, you know, on the legal lore. I'm deep in on the film lore. I'm not deep in on all the legal lore and legal battles that could have happened. So I don't know for sure. All I know is Rob Zombie was able to do what we could not get throughout the 80s and the 90s, and that is simply just bring back the original mask. This mask looks very, very, very close to the original. And like I said, the mask he killed Judith in Halloween 1 in 2007, that was the original mask. I don't care what you tell me. You could probably find some minor differences, but that thing looked like the OG. Next is Halloween 2. It Needs to Die. I'll put it behind Halloween 5. Halloween 2 probably has the worst presentation of Michael. He's in a jacket. He's homeless. He talks. He grunts. You can see half of his face. It's not good. It's not good. You could go on about a million things to say about what's so bad about this mask. I mean, why can I see his face? You know, why did half the mask have to be ripped off? And if we're talking about the mask solely, but, you know, I like to, you know, dive in, you know, because, you know, I just can't sit here and dissect the mask for 3-4 minutes a segment. But, you know, it's everything about Halloween 2's Michael I watched Halloween 2. You can go look at that video. But everything about that Michael kind of just turned me away from the character. He didn't feel like his charming self. You know, he didn't feel mysterious on screen. He didn't feel chilling. He was intimidating. He was sure as hell terrifying, but he wasn't scary in my opinion. You know, and let me rephrase it. Somebody about, oh, you said he was terrifying, but he said he wasn't scary. What I mean is, of course, you see that guy, you're frightened. You're frightened. But to think about Nick Castle's 78, or, you know, James Jude's Courtney's that we'll get to, that guy was more than just walking force. That guy truly embodied what it meant to be the boogeyman, the shape, the evil. You know, he really took the role seriously in not just being this driving violent force, but in making sure he could put fear into anyone throughout the entire day, because that's what he did. That's what he did. That's what he did to Laurie. He stalked Laurie all day. He stalked Laurie. He wasn't towering, but it's just the way he presented himself. It was just the way he really just stood there, the calmness, the stillness to him. Well, that is erased in Halloween 2. I feel like Michael still had a bit more of his calmness and stillness in H1, but in H2, it is completely erased. I feel like it is the most violent film featuring Michael Myers up until Halloween Kills, of course. But I think this is one of his more violent films, and I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't think the character holds any charm in Halloween 2 and Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I don't think the character holds any charm. Next we have Halloween. Going in, it was the Boogeyman. James Jude Courtney came back and he gave us the best portrayal of Michael Myers. I think his portrayal, just because he got 3 films and got to really develop with his Michael Myers, I think his portrayal can go down as better than Nick Castle. Nick is the blueprint. I have him even. James Jude Courtney did everything perfect, but what really helped him was the beginning, when he was able to retrieve this mask and take on the face of the shape. He looks like Michael Myers. He looks like Michael Myers. And that is just so important to first have a Michael Myers actor just look the part. He looks the part. He played the part, and the mask did his job. I didn't see his eyes. And the one shot where Nick Castle played him, that is when Michael really looked like his original self. I mean, really, in Halloween 2018, because that mask, it kind of had that shape that Castle's head has. It kind of had that shell look again when he did the tilt at Laurie. I mean, that was just perfect. So I think Halloween's mask is the Halloween 2018 is the second best in the franchise, right under the original. So credit to Christopher Nelson on that. He did an outstanding job. Halloween Kills will go right there. So now the mask is a little charred, it's a little burnt on his face, but it still looks great. There are so many good shots in Halloween Kills, especially the firefighter scene, which they basically promoted the whole movie around. I mean, so many good shots that just can't happen. If, you know, imagine Halloween 5's Michael walking out of that fire. It doesn't look as good. Or Halloween 2's Michael walking out of that fire. It doesn't look as good. You gotta, the emphasis you have to put on the mask in this series cannot be overstated. And they do another good job. Look at the eyes. I specifically remember when he took the swing at Tommy and he stabbed Tommy. And Tommy looked at him, and they panned it at Michael, and there was nothing there. It almost looked like it could have been just an empty shell right there. There was nothing there. You know, that fear in Tommy. You know, it can really be sold on scenes like that because of that mask. You can't sell scenes like that if you're using, I'm sorry, I'm picking on you, but you can't sell scenes like that if you're using H2O's mask or Halloween 5's mask. So again, just the mask just being great in really the entire Blumhouse trilogy. It should come as no surprise. And then finally, Halloween Ends is also going under It Was the Boogeyman. The Blumhouse trilogy does sweep the It Was the Boogeyman category because the masks were just great in each one. The continuity was there. Christopher Nelson cared, and they don't have the Kills flashback mask on here, but just as a bonus, I'd slap it right there on, as a matter of fact, it was. There's a couple things I noticed, you know, just a couple things I noticed that you know it's not the original. I feel like this mask had just a little too much expression near the lips, but it was really, really, really good. It was the closest anyone came to fabricating that original, besides Zombies Halloween 1 with Judas Kill. That looks very good. That looks more like the original than that Halloween Kills flashback mask. But in Halloween Ends here, again, the mask just deteriorating more. You know, he's a cave hermit now or whatever, or sewer hermit, excuse me. But the mask still looks good. It still looks like Michael. The shots are very good. Michael is still had a chilling presence when he was on the screen. And of course, when Corey took over the mask, that's also, you know, a different actor playing Michael, but the feeling, the look, not changing. Corey looked very much creepy and intimidating when he took on the role of Michael. And so you have to give credit to Christopher Nelson for that. I think all of his masks in these 3 films were great. I mean, the continuity, just look at them side by side. The continuity is amazing. Because see, let's look at 4 and 5. No continuity. This is continuity. Even Halloween 1 and Halloween 2, this is continuity. This is not continuity. 5, this is not continuity, but shoot, I'm glad we got that instead of the one we got in 5. So that is the ranking. Let's go through it. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to you best to worst. Here we are. Here's the mask, best to worst. 78 original, 2018 Kills Ends, 2007 Halloween 2, Curse of Michael, Resurrection, Halloween 4, H2O, Halloween 5, Halloween 209. Those are best to worst. I want to thank you for coming to chill with me on the Chop Block. I do hope you enjoyed this video. You know, I'm trying to get better at doing sit down talk videos. You know, I'm kind of, you know, I struggle sometimes with trying to express what I'm thinking. So it may sound like I'm rambling sometimes, but if you stay here to the end, I love you. If you subscribed, I love you. If you hit the like button, love you. If you click the video, said, oh, it ain't for me, and you still hit the like button, love you. We'll be watching Terrifier 3 and a slew of other films at the start of December as I give y'all a very, Chop Block Christmas. I'll see you guys next time on the Chop Block, where we will be with Art the Clown.